Uh, Thousands of medicinal herbs, 350,000 to be exact, and 80% of the world's population still turn to herbal medicine as their primary healthcare. But to add to that, it's known that including herbs in your diet, herbs and spices in your diet, can prevent some of the most common metabolic health conditions that we suffer from around the world, including metabolic syndrome, heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, digestive problems, and all of these things. And what I'm going to do today is share with you some of the secrets of herbs that you can find in your kitchen pantry and that you can include in your diet to help to heal your body long term. Hi, I'm Elliott, and welcome back to another episode of Secrets of Herbal Healing, where I simplify complex things down into layman's terms that you can apply in your daily life. So let's get into this, and we'll talk to you in 1 second. All right, welcome back. So as usual, what I'm going to do is I'll share this page. There's a QR code there that you can link to if you want to follow along, and also if you want to dig into the research behind the scenes on the herbs that I'm going to share. So I will share my screen with you now, and we're just going to talk through these herbs. So the amazing thing is we've got a powerful medicine cabinet in our own homes. Well, most of us do. If we cook, if we use herbs and spices, then we've got access to a wide range of powerful medicinal herbs and spices. And one of the things I like to do is visit the Indian supermarket, and they quite often they'll have. There's a couple of videos of me here with my herbs and spices at home, and also visiting the Indian supermarket. And Chinese supermarkets are the same. A lot of Asians have their own supermarkets with all the herbs and spices. An Ayurvedic supermarket is like a herbal dispensary almost. And you go in there, and a lot of these practitioners, a lot of these owners of these supermarkets are actually Ayurvedic practitioners. So they know all about the herbs and spices and how you can use them. So it's just something to increase the access you've got to herbal medicine, is to visit those supermarkets. So let's just go through some of these herbs. Now this one is this is a lovely tasting herb. Of course, we all know about basil and pesto, and highly recommend using basil and pesto. So basil has an interesting characteristic, which not a lot of us realize, which is it interacts with cannabinoid receptors in the body. So it has terpenes, sesquiterpenes to be exact, 25% of this particular terpene. And so there's different types of basil. This is the standard basil. You can also get holy basil. And of course, what it does is it helps the nervous system. So it's known to be calming and relaxing and supportive to the nervous system. It has an anti-inflammatory effect on the body. So, and you can't really overdose. Most of these herbs and spices you can't really overdose with. They're quite safe to use in abundance. So there's the first one. I'm going to go through my top 15. So this only take a few minutes. And like I was saying, you can always go and look. There's research as to all the information that we say to back it up. So studies behind the scenes. But most of these herbs have been studied for thousands of years and been used in traditional herbal medicine for thousands of years. And they've been studied in the last few decades. And in fact, everything that I've seen so far points to the fact that all of the traditional uses of these herbs as medicines has now been validated with the studies that are coming out, scientific studies. So how did we know these things? It's incredible, isn't it? Cayenne pepper. Now you think of cayenne pepper as just a hot spice, but it has incredible effects on your metabolism. It's fantastic for helping your appetite, your food cravings, and it's also an excellent remedy for the heart and the blood. Protects the heart, looks after the blood vessels and the circulation. And by the look of it, you can almost see it looks like a blood vessel, and the little seeds you get inside look like blood cells. So cayenne is just an awesome remedy for particularly cardiovascular health. And it's been known to reduce metabolic syndrome. So we talk a little bit about metabolic syndrome because metabolic syndrome is the biggest and most common health condition in the world, with up to a quarter of the world's adults suffering with it. And that's a combination of cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight gain, metabolic imbalance, basically. So cayenne helps with that, as do pretty much all of these herbs and spices I talk about today. So cinnamon, wonderful, wonderful herb, beautiful taste, and you can put this on. You can put this in curries. So you don't often think to put cinnamon in curries, but it has a nice flavor in a curry. But it's also really good on anything to do with fruit or yogurt, chocolate, cacao, drinks, anything like that. And you can be quite generous with cinnamon. So a couple of teaspoons a day is quite good. But it's also been known to help with type 2 diabetes and cholesterol. So there's those metabolic syndrome markers again. So yeah, use the cinnamon freely. And I highly recommend getting it in sticks and grinding it up fresh. It's got a much nicer flavor. So here's the next one, cloves. This is something you may not use a lot of in your food, but it has a very powerful medicinal effect. And it's got a high content of the oils, so the essential oils that come out of cloves, volatile oils that come out of cloves, and very high content, and they're antimicrobial. So they kills bugs, used as an anti-parasitic remedy, and it's also a painkiller. So one thing, it's always good to have cloves in your kitchen for stomach pain or stomach bug or any kind of infant colic, or kids get sore tummies often, and you can quite often a small little bit of clove tea, and it gets rid of it straight away. It's a fantastic remedy for just a sore tummy in general. So highly recommend that. Cumin seeds. I like the black cumin. You can get green cumin seeds as well. Black cumin has been studied a little bit more, and that's got phenols in it, and it has a lot of immune boosting effects. And this is an interesting one here, antidotal properties. So it mitigates toxicities and the side effects of drugs. So that's a really interesting one. You can look at the study there, but it's a fascinating effect of cumin seeds. And I think cumin seeds make this wonderful aroma in the food as well. It's really good to put them in early on in the cooking process so that the aroma comes out of these seeds. Good for the immune system, anti-inflammatory, and really good for digestion. So you quite often use cumin seeds as a support for digestive problem. And along with fennel seeds, so fennel seeds are slightly bigger. They have a nice sort of aniseed flavor. But fennel seeds and cumin seeds both have this wonderful, soothing, calming, digestive supporting effect. Again, you can see another remedy here for infant colic is fennel. So it's got this nice soothing digestive effect. Fennel is also a diuretic, so it helps with fluid retention and, of course, digestive support. Those are the two main areas that we use fennel. So it's not just a matter of using these remedies individually, but combining them into your food. It gives you the effect called synergy, and also called the entourage effect, which is one of my favorite pet topics, is synergy. So when you combine, and of course, this is the way to make a wonderful dish or curry or a soup, isn't it? Is to combine these, and quite often you'll use, a dozen different herbs and spices in a curry or a dish like that. And of course, that gives you this wonderful flavor and this what you sort of all these different textures and tastes and smells that you get when you combine them. But you're also getting what's called the synergistic effect medicinally. So one herb layers on top of the other, and you get a compounding effect. So 1 and 1 doesn't equal 2; it could equal 5 when you're talking about synergy with herbs. So here's one that you use a lot, and pretty much almost every curry that you would ever make is garlic. Similar to onions, garlic has this very powerful antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, immune boosting effect. And there's literally hundreds of studies on garlic for the immune system. So I haven't listed all these here. If you want to dig into garlic, like there's a link there you can follow. There's research and studies you can look into. But basically, a fantastic tonic for building your immune system. And in general, the sulfides or the sulfur compounds in garlic will help your immune system dramatically. And it's really good to have something like this as a long-term tonic for building your immune system. So use it regularly, and I recommend using about 6 cloves a day. And it's also important to remember garlic is more powerful for your immune system when it's raw, by the way. Ginger, again, another one that goes in so many different curry dishes, but you can use this alone as a herbal tea as well. And this is another fantastic anti-nausea, digestive supporting remedy. And it's got so many different, forms and functions, that the different ways you can use it. Even cubed ginger, if you're traveling or something like that, to help prevent nauseous. It's also used in herbal medicine to improve the circulation. So it's a good it's a warming circulatory herb, but it helps to circulate the other herbs and the other remedies if you're using it in a herbal formula. But in this case, it's going to combine well with chili, for example. It helps to circulate the blood. Now, this is interesting because paprika, you usually buy paprika as paprika, and you buy cayenne pepper as cayenne. But in fact, paprika is the same. It's still chilies. It's just the way it's been produced and processed. And quite often, traditionally it's made in Hungary and it's smoked, so it's got a bit of a different flavor. But essentially, it has the same or similar properties to cayenne, as we spoke about earlier. Great for the cholesterol, great for the blood in the heart. Parsley. So this is one that you can use fresh and use it in salads. Parsley has got a really strong, fantastic aroma, and it's traditionally used as a diuretic, so it helps to remove fluid from the body. And it's got this flavonoid in it, which is anti-inflammatory, apigenin. And it's also been shown to be antioxidant and have anti-cancer activity. But parsley is a superfood. So it's a bit like seaweed or kelp, spirulina. It's one of those superfoods that literally contains almost every nutrient under the sun. So a fantastic way to build up your nutrient levels. Poppy seeds. Now, this is interesting. You might have heard about, you've got to be careful if you've been eating too many poppy seed buns or bagels or anything with poppy seeds on it, that you could fail a drug test. And which is true, but you have to eat a lot. And the reason being is it's the same poppy, you can see here, it's the same poppy that is used to produce the opium or the drug opium. And in fact, these seeds are the same, from that actual plant. And so they have small trace amounts of opioids in them, but you would have to chow down on probably about a cupful of poppy seeds to really get any kind of effect. And so I wouldn't recommend it. You'd probably make yourself sick. So it's very unlikely that you're going to get to fail a drug test unless you've eaten, 6 or 10 buns covered in poppy seeds. But so in saying that, it does have this effect where it helps to calm you down. It helps to reduce stress, but it's also a nutrient-rich food. So it's high in protein. In fact, very, very high in protein. It's got some great essential oils in it, tocopherols, alkaloids, flavonoids, phenolic compounds. So it's a very medicinal plant, and it's basically used for stress. So there you go. Interesting one. And you can quite often put poppy seeds into the pan before you start with the garlic and the onions, and just let them pop a little bit before you put the rest of the the base of your curry into the pan. So I always put a few poppy seeds in. They're quite good. Rosemary. So this is another one that's it's quite a common herb. You think of it as most people would have some rosemary perhaps in the garden, and it's often used on meat dishes or with vegetables. It's got a really, really nice flavor. But interestingly, it has a similar effect to ginkgo biloba, as in it's an powerful antioxidant, and it protects the brain. So it's known for helping improve the brain function, the memory, the cognition, a powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. So a good rosemary tea can be helpful, if you're suffering with headaches or migraines. Now, here's another one that gets to the brain. Now, this is a traditional Indian herb that is often used as a color. So it helps to put it, the bright color into a curry. And interestingly, the antioxidants in saffron cross the blood-brain barrier, and it's known to help to protect the eyes from damage, and even in treating macular degeneration. So it helps to protect those fine blood vessels in the brain and in the eyes. And we'll quite often use saffron in brain tonic remedies. Sage. So sage has a bit of a mystical property. Sage is often used in things like smudge sticks or burning. Like American Indians will use a lot of sage in rituals and things like that. There's different types of sage that you can use. Different varieties have different properties, but it is known to help with the brain. You can see some of the effects here, including seizures, dizziness, tremor, paralysis. So it has an effect on the brain and the nervous system. It's also antiviral and helps the immune response in the body. So very interesting herb, sage. I highly recommend trying some. Turmeric. I think this is the last of our 15 herbs. And you've probably all heard about turmeric in recent times. There's been over 100 different clinical trials that have shown that the compound, the yellow pigment in compound curcumin, and how effective that is at regulating and modulating inflammation in your body. And there's a whole list of diseases that it's been shown to help with. It's particularly powerful at helping the body to fight cancer because it's got a lot of different anti-cancer properties. There's 12 different ways that turmeric helps protect the body from cancer cells. And you can use a lot of this in your food. We do have like a nano curcumin that you can get off our website, which means that you can use 10 drops of the liquid and it's equal to having 2.5 kilos of turmeric powder, and it gets straight into the circulation. So it's more bioavailable. That's the big problem with turmeric, is its bioavailability. And I should also mention turmeric, and they did a study with turmeric and black pepper. When it's combined, the turmeric became 2,000 times more bioavailable. So there's an instance of synergy, of the herbal synergy taking place. So fascinating thing. That's just how much of an impact synergy can have on the body. And I should mention I'll be touring around the country doing the Secrets of Synergy workshop coming up in 2025. So check that out on our website. And we really dig into this synergy thing because it's fascinating on how many levels it can be applied. And here's an example of synergy in practice in your food, which is curries. And like I was saying earlier, you can go to your Indian supermarket and find all different types of different masalas or curry powder combinations and get all of these different herbs into your diet, into your food. And it is known that populations that consume the combinations of lots of these different herbs and spices in their diets appear to have much lower incidence of metabolic syndrome and metabolic disease. So basically the leading causes of death that we suffer from in Westernized countries that have Westernized diets. So, and also making curries, it sort of puts you in the direction of having more whole food, fruits, vegetables, whole meats, a few nuts, and so unprocessed food. By using herbs and spices, you're far more likely to have a lot more whole food in your diet. So I'll just leave it there today. There is a link here that you can use, and if you go to the curry page, if you use that link and click on curry, it'll filter out all the curry recipes for you, and that'll give you some ideas on what you can do with these herbs straight away. So thanks for watching. Hope that's been helpful, and hope that's inspired you to include more herbs and spices in your diet and reap the benefits, reap the rewards. And remember to keep doing these things long term. Keep up the good work, step by step. Incremental change is the way to go forwards. And we'll keep making improvements for the rest of our lives step by step. And that's the real way to get the long-term solution, is to just do that one step at a time, and we'll get there eventually. So keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you soon.